This was insane to witness as we just saw the Boston Celtics put on an absolute thriller versus this Minnesota Timberwolves team, getting a clutch victory backed by the man Jaylen Brown, as he was absolutely fantastic, scoring 15 of the Celtics' first quarter points and absolutely coming up clutch, hitting that big dagger in the end. We're going to be looking at all of this and breaking down how this game was so crazy for the Celtics. All of that and more on this episode of Celtics Digest. I'm Bruce Veliz, and you guys have been absolutely fantastic showing your love and support. But let's dive into the video at hand. Make sure to grab a snack. But like I said in the introduction, this was wild and one of the better games the Celtics have had to see this season. It had me absolutely jumping out of my seat at the end, where the Celtics came up big and got a clutch victory here versus the Minnesota Timberwolves at home. And a very, very necessary win as well. Having no Luke Cornett, already being up with one of the big men, the Celtics utilized Xavier Tillman in today's lineup, and he was spectacular. But not only that, other players like Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum came through and delivered for this team. So let's get into it and let's break this game down. Like I mentioned, the Celtics came into this contest versus this Minnesota Timberwolves team, a top team in the Western Conference, and a team that they have battled with in the past. But like I mentioned, this team came out on fire. Jaylen Brown was that lethal flamethrower for the Celtics in that first quarter there, scoring the Celtics 15 first points, but overall in total for JB tonight, 10 for 18 from the field, 7 3-pointers for the man with 2 for 2 from the free throw range, 4 assists and 2 rebounds, 1 block and 1 steal to finish off with 29 points. Absolutely fantastic from JB there. For Derrick White, as we all know, he came up clutch for the Celtics, getting some steals, saving that ball for the Celtics, getting them that dagger shot with Jaylen Brown, but doing everything that he knows what he does best, grabbing those rebounds, getting 5 assists, but not only doing that, 2 blocks and 1 steal, going with 4 3-pointers. That's why D. White is clutch. And Horford, Tatum as well, came up big for the Celtics. Horford hitting some big-time shots, 2 for 9 from the three-point line, but those 2 threes were big. And Tatum, maybe not the greatest shooting night tonight. He did look better from three-point range compared to Friday night's contest versus the Wizards. But Tatum overall did some other things as well for the Celtics, getting some rebounds, being a solid playmaker, helping out on the defensive side as well, and that's what you got to give him credit for. Like I mentioned with this Celtics team, these players, Tatum and Brown, step up when one player is lacking in the other sense of things. And if Brown is going to be the guy that is going to be lighting up the basket, scoring from all levels for the Celtics, a guy like Jayson Tatum is going to come and deliver, being that enforcer and playmaker for the Celtics team. But off the bench, we saw 3 players only get inserted for the Celtics here tonight. Pritchard hit some big shots early in the first quarter alongside JB, and Tillman played some solid defense as that switchable big, where the Celtics saw him get utilized on Friday night, where he was a little bit of an X factor as well versus the Wizards. And if we want to look at the if we want to look at the Timberwolves side of things, like I mentioned, Julius Randle had 23 points. He was slicing and dicing, getting to the rack early. Jaden McDaniels hit some big shots, scoring early for the Timberwolves, And Anthony Edwards, once again, was kind of in his bag. 6 for 11 from the three-point range. Had a decent amount of rebounds, assists, really putting this team on his back. From the bench, Rob Dillingham looked to make himself a nice insertion for this Timberwolves squad. Has had some little bit of rough patches with this team, but he's one of those players, including with Reed Sheppard, that I'm very, very high on from this draft class, and I'm really excited to see what he can do. But he showcased that he could hit some big-time shots and kind of get into this rhythm, and as long as he gets comfortable in the NBA, I think he's going to be a big-time shot maker. But for the Celtics, as we all know, it was a back-and-forth game with this Timberwolves squad, and it really was down to the wire. JB hitting that big-time shot. The Timberwolves were not shying away, even though the Celtics were still delivering, hitting some late shots. But then, obviously, that last possession there, my heart was beating out of my chest. I won't lie to you guys. The Celtics definitely brought out those emotions tonight, but that's what being a Celtics fan is and going through those moments. We don't want to have, we love those blowout games where we beat the Wizards by 20 and kind of just get taken care of these teams, but ultimately, these nail-biting games is what makes us fans appreciate the Celtics and yearn for more basketball and want to see these close games. So, as a Celtics fan, wanting to see a close game was very good, especially against another Timberwolves team. Again, last year had a lot of close games for the Celtics. Both, if you guys forget, both of those contests went to overtime. They lost in Minnesota but won in Boston. So the Celtics still win in Boston this year, keeping that record alive from last year. But ultimately, this Timberwolves team can provide a very, very good contest for the Celtics team. Maybe without Porziņģis, it's a bit better for the Timberwolves because they have those guys in Randall and Gobert and Naz Reid who are a little bit bigger, and they can play down to that level where the Celtics will have to utilize some of those guys that maybe be less experienced in going up against some better veterans. But maybe as we get closer to the playoffs, closer to a finals, the Celtics would fare better with Porziņģis. I would agree, but I do think the Timberwolves are a solid matchup for the Celtics and a very fun matchup as well with Anthony Edwards and Jayson Tatum, two of, I would say, the best American young players in the league, kind of rising up here, kind of going at each other, one in the East, one in the West. That is very, very great sights. But something that I want to look at as well with this Celtics team here is a stat courtesy of Dick Life. And this is a fantastic stat to look at for the Celtics. As we see, the Celtics 3-point rate today versus the Minnesota Timberwolves was a 64.4%. Well, broke a franchise record set on opening night versus the Knicks, what was a 6.42. It was Boston's 6th game of the season where they shot 60% or better from the 3-point range today, and no other team has hit that mark that season. And one thing that goes to that, and one key caveat to why that is important to notice, is because it's Mazzulla ball, baby. Joe Mazzulla is making sure those threes are warranted. They are taking them, and they are going to be hitting. Jaylen Brown was in his bag today for the Boston Celtics, going 5 for 6 from 3-point range in the first quarter, 15 total points, and really putting that team, like I said, on his back to start. But then players like Jayson Tatum really started to pick up the pace, started hitting more threes. But when his shot started to go away, he started to help out and facilitate, find those guys like Jrue, like Horford, like Derrick, like Pritchard to really set up this offense, and even look at JB to get them ultimately going. And that was what fueled the Celtics here to get this victory versus the Timberwolves. And the Celtics, even though they do have this victory tonight and get that off their belt, they do have a matchup tomorrow. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The Celtics are taking on the Los Angeles Clippers in a back-to-back tomorrow. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section on this game. And tomorrow, like I mentioned, we will have another post-game reaction for you guys over here on Celtics Digest, going over that Clippers game. Now, when we got to look at that preview for that Clippers game, I do want to let you know that I do believe Horford will be sitting out. As we know, he does not play in back-to-backs, and he did play tonight, even though he was scheduled to be on the injury report heading into it. Luke Kornet was on the injury report tonight, so I think those two players will switch. We'll see Horford be taken off, Luke be available, and the Celtics will have a little bit of some inexperienced big man work with, obviously, Luke, Tillman, and Keita going up against those Clippers bigs in Ivica Zubac, who's been very, very dominant in the post and in the paint this season as an aggressive rebounder. So we'll have to see how that battle looks, who's really going to shine in that matchup. Ultimately, I think that's going to be the big storyline to look at for the Celtics tomorrow heading into that game. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. How do you guys feel about this Celtics team? Like I mentioned, an insane game to witness today as Jaylen Brown absolutely went off, taking this Celtics team on his back as he's been really hooping and proving those haters wrong. And I'm very, very excited to see this out of JB, as I've been a huge supporter of the man ever since he's gotten that contract. Where are those haters now, JB? Where are those people calling at you saying you didn't deserve that $300 million? I don't hear them because they are absolutely silent. What's up? Thank you guys so much, guys, for tuning in, watching the video. Really, really appreciative over here on Celtics Digest. Like I said, if you guys are fans of the channel, if you guys want to support, make sure to hit that subscribe button for Godfrey and I. 69% of you guys who watch our videos are not subscribed, and we're trying to hit the mark of 6,000 subscribers by the start of next year. So we got a little over a month, 150 subscribers away, so we'd really, really appreciate it if you guys could get this there. Once again, you guys have been absolutely fantastic, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Have a great rest of your day, rest of your weekend, and go Boston Celtics. See you guys tomorrow.